Hello, everyone. So, our topic of discussion for today is the observational learning. So, this type of learning very clearly says that observers acquire knowledge by observing the model's behavior. The model is the source. Clearly, the person who is going to leave an impact on you is going to inspire you. So, in early days, this form of learning was also called imitation. So there was Bandura along with his colleagues. They actually performed many experiments because they really wanted to investigate this form of learning. And Bandura came up with this theory of social learning, which says that, this social learning theory is a theory of learning process and social behavior, which proposes that new behaviors can be acquired by observing and imitating others. So how essentially by observing people, by imitating people, we can learn new behaviors? That essentially is modeling. So some examples can be like, how in the fashion industry, there is the film industry, television industry, there are so many people who tend to give work, or they tend to employ people who are very decent looking, probably can be tall, fit, with a good build, who have decent, good looks. Why like that? Because people are looking at them on screen, people are observing them so minutely, and many a times when they want to endorse certain brands, or they want to promote a certain movie, or they want to launch something, they actually take such people, they give opportunities to such people, because the audience is watching them, the audience is actually looking at them, getting inspired by them, literally observing them minutely. So this essentially can leave an impact on the audience, and many a times when they like certain people, when they really like how they do an advertisement, or how they've maybe shared a blog on the magazine cover, or maybe something that's come up in the newspaper, they do get inspired, and then they feel like doing the same thing. So many a times they start imitating their role models, they start observing them, they start looking at them, and they start doing the same things. So that is how modeling takes place, that is how new behaviors are learned, they are acquired, and that is how a change is brought in people you know so essentially that's happening through a role model. So that is what is observational learning. Now, of course, coming to Bandura, who had actually conducted so many studies. One of his studies is the Bandura's Bobodol study, which he had conducted with the purpose to prove what essentially is observational learning. And in this kind of experimental study, he had actually showed a film of some 5 minutes to children, and this film was actually shot in a large room where there were a lot of toys kept, and there was also a bobo doll kept amongst the many toys. And then it was shown in the movie that how a grown up boy, he actually enters the room and begins to look around, and then so basically, then he starts showing aggressive behavior towards the toys, and particularly to the bobo doll, as you can see on the screen, you know. And he starts hitting the doll, throws it on the floor, kicks it, tries to sit on it, and then further they showed some, three versions. So they showed some three versions of this film. So literally there were some three versions showed of this film. So coming to the first version of the film, uh, it was shown that a group of children, they see the boy. For them the boy is the model here. you know they see the boy for being aggressive to the doll, you know and for being aggressive to the doll in the first version of the film, the boy is actually rewarded. So that this is what the group of children see. in the first version of the movie, that the boy has been so aggressive to the doll, but still he was given a reward for it. Then in the second version, it was shown that there was another group of children, and they see actually that the boy was punished for literally showing aggressive behavior. And in the third version, you know, uh, of the film, the third group of children, they are not shown that the boy is rewarded or punished, because literally, nothing happens. The aggressive model has not received any consequences whatsoever. There's no reward, there's no punishment that's come the model's way. But of course, in the second film, the second version of the film, he is punished. You know, the boy is punished for showing aggressive behavior, and in the first version of the film, the boy is rewarded for showing aggressive behavior. So, of course, then after viewing all of this, after viewing a specific version of the film, and all the three groups of children, they are placed in a experimental room, and in that experimental room, there are similar kind of toys. They have watched the movie, and to the three different groups of children, the three different versions of the movie have been shown, and now they have literally been taken to an experimental room where now there are similar kind of toys, and now they were all allowed that these toys are at your disposal, you can play with these toys, and they start playing. And of course, these three groups of children who actually were made to watch these three different versions of movies, they were actually observed secretly. And it was noted that those children who actually saw that aggressive behavior was actually rewarded, they were the most aggressive. And the children who saw that the aggressive behavior was actually punished, they were the least aggressive. So basically, observational learning, what does it do? you know it's very clear that in case of observational learning, the observers, they acquire knowledge. Definitely, the acquiring of knowledge is taking place by observing the models or the sources behavior. But when we talk about the performance will always be influenced by the model's behavior, either being rewarded or being punished. That is how the performance tends to get, influenced. So many times, we've noticed that how when, kids, of course, when they are very small, they tend to play a lot of games, like, they play, like housekeeping. They also play thief policeman, and they try and arrange birthday parties. They do all of that what probably their mother is doing at home, or they see their father doing at home, or they see their older brother sister doing at home. So they try and do that in their own little way. This is all is because of observational learning. They're literally actually noticing and observing the adults' behavior around them at home, during social ceremonies, during functions. They're actually keeping a watch. They're looking at them. They are literally observing them, and they're doing all of that. Whatever they see, they do that. So basically, the way you kind of put on your clothes, you dress up your hair, you conduct yourself, all these are learned literally through observing others. So many times we watch television, there are so many advertisements being flashed. We see so many things, how people are dressing up these days, or making their hair, or probably getting a new haircut. We learn all of these things by observing them, by looking at them, and then we do the same thing. So basically, children learn and develop various personality characteristics, uh, mainly essentially through observational learning. whether it's becoming aggressive or it is becoming or showing a pro-social behavior, which is like really being helpful towards people, contributing in the society, being courteous enough, being polite enough, all of these are but through this method of observational learning. So, we need to be very cautious. What are we saying in front of these children? You know, what kind of language are we using? What are my actions? What is my behavior in front of them? They are keeping a note of everything. And, it is somehow getting acquired. They are learning from us, definitely. So, this essentially is observational learning. Thank you so much.